Hey everybody, Ian here from the GameBrew. Real quick, I just wanted to acknowledge and thank Andrew Green from our Facebook page for suggesting our first topic for today. Thanks so much. And if you have a question and you want to hear us answer it, you can send it to us on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Thanks so much. Enjoy the show. We just need to set the stage that everybody's feeling the same. Chris, I appreciate that you've got your Christmas lights up and back. Everybody else, just imagine outside the window. It's a crisp cold outside, a sharp cold. And there's just a wisp of snow coming down, but the sky is clear, that kind of crystal clear that it's only that clear when it's very, very cold out. There's a little frost on the window, and far in the distance, you hear.
That's not a Festivus sound.
Well, what would a Festivus sound would be like? Get over here and fight your father!
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
There you go.
Hello and welcome to episode 45 of the GameBrew podcast. I am your host, Ian Rudolph Richard, and I'm here with Chris Blitzenreitz.
I don't follow people with weird red noses.
Dan Dasher Rotz.
Yeah, he tried to hide that thing with some soot on his nose. What a douche.
Will Comet Shell.
Do I go fast?
Come at me, bro. And Allison
Okay.
Dancer Vandevender.
Yeah, I am known for my Macarena, so this is appropriate.
It is a mean Macarena, I will tell you that.
I know.
So
It's not for the faint of heart, though.
Whoa. Today, on the first half of the show, we'll talk about the ramifications of Blizzard's Diablo Immortal announcement. And in the second half, we're celebrating GameBrew Festivus.
Yay!
Play the
Festivus for the
Festivus
rest
music,
of us.
everybody. Yeah.
But first, it's time for a beer. Oh, shit. Woo!
Whoa. That was a hefty pop.
That pooped?
That sounded
pooped
nice.
up there.
That's what.
Whoa. This is a family show.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
I
GameBrew
just wanted
facts.
to point out that I
Depends on
realized
the
that
thing.
Will's wearing are you wearing like a suit jacket, a blazer, if you will?
No,
He's doing
just-
sort of a Leisure Suit Larry kind of look right
No,
now.
it's just like a shirt with a black shirt under.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, like Leisure
Listen,
Suit
he's
Larry
a-
style.
He's a good-looking dude, okay?
He's all right.
Leave him alone.
I'd like to note you accepted my unicorn onesie, but you're going to shame Will for a potential
I'm
blazer.
a man of taste, Allison.
This is a Calvin Klein shirt, I will have you know, and it's got little dots on it for
Oh.
style.
This episode sponsored by Calvin Klein.
Chris,
Please.
what are we drinking this week?
We're drinking
Christmas.
holiday beers. No, not Christmas.
No.
This is Festivus. We don't associate with
Sorry.
Christmas.
With
That's
that.
true.
Sorry.
That's true.
Dirty
No,
which
religious
is
holiday.
which is why I decided to drink Saint Festivus
Nice.
ale brewed with spices from the Brewer's Art in Baltimore.
That's
How
where
is
I
it?
live.
Or
That's where you live.
I chose to drink the Mad Elf by Trogs.
Trogs, yeah.
Yeah, which is in
Trogs.
Pennsylvania.
That's where I live.
Ooh.
Oh.
I am drinking Saint Bernardus Christmas Ale, which is a Belgian Abbey quadruple, and it's delicious. It's actually really sweet.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have two saints involved in this
We
That's
do.
true.
Festivus gathering we're having here.
You need
Yes.
plenty of Festivus saints at Festivus celebration.
It's true.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got Bell's Winter White Ale, which I had one earlier in the week too, and
I enjoy
it's
bells.
good.
Why's it gotta be a white ale?
It's weirdly fruity.
Wow.
Well,
Don't
because
go there.
Snow. It snows at Festivus time.
Oh, because, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It does.
Winter white.
Weirdly fruity, but good. I liked it.
That's what I think about you, Will. Weirdly fruity, but good.
So we're just quaffing some Christmas
Yeah.
some
No.
Festivus brews. Allison, what are you doing over
I have hot chocolate with rum, because holidays. And I'm the drunk aunt.
That's like where she's like, here, take a sip of this. You'll like it.
Now go get me my menthols. Mama needs some menthols.
My hosiery is bunching.
So what have we been up to this week, friends?
Dude, I've been up to so many things.
Yeah.
Too many
I
things.
Tell
bought
us
too many
about it.
games at once. It's a problem. It's not a
you
problem. I
did.
mean, I fucked up.
You're never gonna finish any of them.
No,
it's
so I bought Red Dead,
nice.
or sorry, Rootin' Tootin' Cowboy Shootin' 2
Rootin' tootin' cowboy shooting too.
That is awesome.
by the makers of Shooty Steely Automobile.
Is this real?
It is now.
The internet calls it real.
The internet calls it that. And we call things what the internet does.
and I mean, Dan's gone into it a little bit before. It's really good. I mean, you kind of at this point know what you're kind of getting with Rockstar.
I may have asked this question before, but is the targeting system the same as all previous Rockstar titles that are
Yes.
3D?
Yeah, I mean,
just can't abide by it.
I mean, I think it works because it has it locks on, and then you can try to aim to get their head, and I'm fine with it.
It works for the game type that it is, and it's not a shooter. The game is not a shooter.
It's
an
a
adventure
simulation
game.
adventure game. Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on it because I want to
Nah.
talk about Super Smash Brothers.
Yes. We have been smashing so much. It is great.
Now, when I bought this game,
Smash.
it came out the same day as Katamari Damacy Rerolled for the Switch.
And you bought that too.
I actually went to GameStop that Friday night, to pick up Katamari, and I was like, well, I'm here. I might as well pick up Smash.
Smash Brothers.
Chris, didn't we play together on launch day?
Huh?
We played together on launch day, right?
We talked about it, but I went to bed, or I went and played Katamari.
Oh, you went and played Katamari. I played on launch day.
But no, it's really good. It's really impressive how many characters they have available. We've been playing
they
it,
all seem viable. Every
Yeah.
single one of them has stuff where I'm like, I could make that work for me.
and there's definitely some people are slightly better than others, just innately. But it's been really cool. At work during lunch, we've set up a TV and a Switch, so that a bunch of us during our lunch breaks go and play for an hour.
Oh, that's fun.
It's been
That's
awesome.
There are a couple things that bother me about it, though. You don't unlock new fighters by playing with your friends, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
And online is spotty. I hope they iron that part out.
Yeah, I mean, especially when we were playing today, it was very laggy.
Yeah, you can tell.
I haven't tried the online yet. Is it, Chris just said laggy. Is it spotty connection issues or just laggy? Is it dropped?
It's
or
really
what?
laggy. And for a
than
fighting
anything.
game, it's god damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, on if everyone's playing locally, it's really good. I was reading today that the input lag is the largest for any of the Smashes ever.
Yeah.
But
same.
Wow.
hopefully that will be fixed.
They should
Yeah.
be able to patch that.
Yeah,
I
I mean
wouldn't think
they've been
internet
doing
age.
they've done I think 3 updates already.
I'm really surprised how into it I am, considering that I've never really dug into a fighting game before. This is different.
Well,
and
I think
it's classic Nintendo to be able to nail the accessible for everybody, but also you can play it as a challenge game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's low barrier of entry but high skill cap.
High skill cap. Yeah, exactly.
They're doing a really good job of making it so that the multiplayer works really well. It's still spotty, but it works pretty well when it's working.
I picked it up as
Nice.
well, but I've only played a few minutes of it.
Wait, what have you been playing?
Well, I've been focusing hardcore on Shadow of Mordor because I played it a long time ago and really liked it, and for some reason put
Shadow
it
of
down.
Mordor or Shadow of War?
Shadow of Mordor, the first.
The first one.
First one.
and I'm plowing through it, and man, it's so much fun. I'm kind of taking the Dan Rotz method, taking the Dick Rotz method of
That's
full
right.
completion, and just
Yeah,
I struggle with
everything.
that.
Yo, you gotta go completion. I mean, you can't just
That-
you can't just
You
cut
can't go off
midway.
half cocked.
Yeah.
Fun story. That's the only game I've ever platinumed.
Really,
Which one?
Shadow of Mordor.
I really
that's
like
really
it.
cool.
And the combat system's fun. It feels like it's got a little more depth than the Arkham Asylum.
A little bit.
yeah.
The
'Cause there's
story is a
more-
little bit
Yeah, I was going to say the
deeper.
story probably can't touch it, but
The story's good. I don't think the story's as good as Arkham Asylum, but it's that same basic combat, directional and button mash combat system. But there's combinations you can do of, 2 buttons at once.
Right, and all like the different equipment and the different kinds of
and
enemies, and like you can be mounted. It was. I remember it feeling pretty comprehensive.
I never get tired of combat finishers. Like, I don't know who did the work for this and how, like, whether they strapped somebody with those little motion balls or whatever and did some, motion capture stuff. But there's at least 47 different ways that you can watch him jam a sword through somebody's
it's so
skull.
good.
And then,
It's so visceral.
satisfying.
Like it's
amazing.
it's just the most Lord of the Rings type of thing you could see whenever
Yes,
it happens,
is.
and it's
It's
just
really
like,
well done.
yes, I love it. Just want to fuck up some orcs.
And I like
I
the
love-
voice acting. It's really good. If you're in the mood for a story.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to mention the Nemesis system is really cool.
It's innovative whenever they made it. It's just like, hey, he remembers what you did.
And like if you
Yeah.
fail to kill him, he becomes like
They become more powerful. If you kill them, they remember and they'll come back and they'll comment on it. And it's very theatrical when you start to engage with them. It just gets you in it more and makes it more exciting. And it's challenging.
I'm pretty sure Shadow.
Everyone's a different
it's
type
either
of fight.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say. I think Shadow of War is on sale somewhere for like a steep discount.
Well,
right
he's
now.
got to
I think
finish
it's
Shadow of
70%.
Mordor first, and then
Yeah.
he's got it.
Dan, what about you, man? What have you been up to?
So I had the longing to play a JRPG that I played when I was a teenager called Xenosaga. Have you ever played those games? That was on PS.
I played Xenogears.
Like
That was the one
Xenogears, yeah.
before it, after it, before
Correct.
it.
Yes, before.
And I remember playing the Xenosaga series, and I was like, you know what? I'm in the mood for like a long ass, really complicated and convoluted JRPG. So I picked up Persona 5 because it was on sale.
Did it live up to your complex and complicated
Well,
and long
I
ass
mean,
JRPG?
Just before I could play the game, there was about an hour and a half of story things that happened. So yes, it's great. I love it. It's great. No,
It's exactly what you
it
wanted.
is because, and this is what I love. I just finished like the first like portion of the game because you have to go in. Persona, if you don't know, is basically like the whole series is based off of you have like these personas inside of you that come out whenever you're trying to fight. So
it's like the Hulk.
kind of, yeah. Also, I've been missing out on like costume things for years by not being anime characters because there's like a dude with glasses and messy hair in every goddamn anime. I could have been like every
that's
main
what you
character.
are.
Absolutely.
But it's really interesting just because whenever you start the game, you have to go into these mind palaces that people have, kind of like Inception, where you go in and yes, and you have to try and steal their heart, in quotes, which is like the thing they desire the most, or like that leads them on and makes them like be terrible people or whatever. It's way more complicated, and I'm not going to explain it super well.
I already don't have any idea what you're talking
That's
about.
right, because it's a JRPG.
I was actually about to ask, is how accessible for this is, because I like RPGs, I was a big Final Fantasy fan and Xenogears fan. How accessible is it for your standard JRPG? Because this sounds like
It's
like those Japanese TV shows
not.
that are so far outside of the normal realm of what we're used to seeing on TV.
I
but
was
video games.
for about the first 3 hours of playing it, I was still very uncomfortable with how to play it. And then about hour 6, I finally got exactly what I need. Like, I was like, okay, I understand this. I finished the first thing in 10 hours. It took me 10 hours just to finish like the first almost intro level to the game.
Do you like it?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
It's what I do.
Well, that's the thing. It's like what's good and bad about Persona.
Yeah.
It's something different, but it's also something so different that it's very complex.
Right. But it's also very simple whenever you get into it. It's weird. It's hard to explain because it's all based on enemy types have weaknesses that you have to exploit. But you also, to get to exploit those weaknesses, you have to recruit those enemies onto your side in order to use their power. So it's a lot about sometimes you kill all of the bad guys, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you use them to get items. Sometimes you get yen from them. Sometimes you recruit them onto your team in order to use them in the future. So But no, it's great. It's very long. I will be continuing to play this. It's basically what I will do instead of watching television. I will be playing Persona 5.
In terms of me, my update is just that I've been smashing, and I dipped my toe back into Sea of Thieves, and things are looking up there. I think that in another 6 months of free high quality updates, it'll be a full release title game.
Nice. It's only taken a year.
At that point, it would have been a year and a half, but I still have fun with it. I kind of talk shit about it in jest because I really love that game. They added a new ship since I've last played. That's a 3-man ship instead of just having a 2 and a 4. They added like fog that rolls in and rolls out, so you actually have to have someone climb up to the crow's nest and navigate for you when you're sailing around. The Megalodons and the Kraken have been tweaked, so they're a little bit better for everyday kind of adventures. They drop treasure and they scale to the level of your ship, which is nice, or not the level, but the size of your ship. So they've just been like common sense things that like make sense and are awesome. Oh, and there's skeleton crews now. There's scary skeleton ships that roam around and smash you if you're not paying attention. It's really
spooky skeletons.
Like all the things that should have been in there, they're starting to put in there, and I really think this game is going to be something special, if it's not already to you.
Nice.
And Allison?
I've just been playing League. That's it.
And
on.
So the first thing that we wanted to talk about this week was the fallout from the Diablo Immortal announcement this past BlizzCon. It was, to say the least, unfortunate, and to say the most, it was really, really, really bad. I went back and watched the announcement today, and there were so many things where I was just like burying my heads in my hands.
I
So
believe.
cringy.
Yeah, the internet calls that cringeworthy.
Oh, man, it was bad. But beyond that, there's also some really big issues with the way that Blizzard approached releasing a mobile title. And so we wanted to talk about this announcement. We wanted to talk about what the ramifications are, not just for Blizzard, but also for the Diablo series. So the first thing that I wanted to ask is, why does everyone think there was such a visceral reaction in the community to this particular announcement?
I think it's because Diablo is such a beloved title, and there's certain expectations there for what's expected, from the player base.
I mean, I think it's a combination of that, the fact that they waited until the end of either the end of their BlizzCon presentation or the Diablo portion of it to announce this game that they were like going to do like the surprise like at the end thing. I think it's also the fact that they're letting another company they're using another company to do it.
NetEase.
And I think that a lot of people are considering it a cash grab. Mobile games right now are a lot easier to make than full-fledged like AAAs, and they can make a lot of money.
I'm sick of the cash grab thing.
They're businesses.
And it's
I know,
what's
but
working right now.
But not to get off topic
they're,
here, but even Counter-Strike is on the we want to be PUBG bandwagon, and they've got their whole...
And like Valve also had their card game come out, and
I am in no way attracted to bandwagon games, and that includes Immortal. Like, it's not... I'm in that boat of, this is not original enough, and it's not differentiated enough from what's already on mobile. Why do I want to play that? And it looks and feels like other mobile titles.
Well, yeah, and there is actually some speculation that the game was actually a reskin copy of another NetEase title, which is like it might be. They probably a lot of the code is similar.
It looks pretty.
I think the bigger point that you guys are making is that Blizzard, and what Blizzard is famous for, is releasing games with incredible polish, incredible character design, and some really neat story. They're not... Usually Blizzard is not an innovator, right?
No,
they don't come up with brand new shit. They do whatever is popular way better than anybody else.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
wheelhouse.
say. Yeah. When RTSs were out, they came out with the best RTS.
Yeah.
When EverQuest was dominating the MMO, they were like, we can do that but better and with better characters.
Yeah.
When, when the team shooter was a thing, they came out with Overwatch with better characters. And more,
that's how Blizzard became great. And the problem with what they're doing right now is they're iterating on something that they already have, but in a way that's not interesting.
And they made it seem like it was a huge deal. Like, that was also, like, whenever everyone was expecting a Diablo 3 sort of announcement, instead they were like, 4, sorry, what did I say? Diablo 4 announcement, they were like, oh, never mind, mobile.
I think this would have been so much better if this wasn't Diablo and they called it something else, if they were like, hey, we want to do a mobile game specifically for
anybody
mobile,
else.
better than anybody else, so let's call it, I don't know.
That would have been,
something.
that would have been one way to do it. I think Demon Smasher.
Demon Fighter 1.
Demon Smash Man Dex Manly's
just call it
Demon
Devil.
Fighter.
I think the other way that they could have made this successful too, Allison, is instead of changing it to a different like IP or a different thing, they could have just released it without saying anything about it. You know what I mean? Not made such a big deal. And the people who wanted to have a Diablo title on their phones would then have one on their phones, but it wouldn't have taken the slot or felt like it stole the stage from some kind of Diablo 4 stuff.
I kind of feel that way about conventions like this in general anymore, with these big announcements and you know, they're televised through the internet. I don't know how to say it. Streamed through the internet, I guess is the better way to say it. And it's almost detrimental to these companies at this point. Like, it's always cringeworthy. It really is. It's painful to watch in a lot of ways. It's not well organized. I feel like it doesn't have the magic it had when I was young. And maybe that's because we live in an era where we don't have to wait for these big announcements at venues like this. We can get the information fast and easy in different ways. So I'm not really sure if these kinds of announcements are really helpful anymore, because it seems like they're hurting more than helping the companies.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that. I think another factor, I don't think we've mentioned this, but that crowd was all Blizzard's always made PC games forever. And this was...
especially Diablo, too.
Well, and Diablo 3.
And Diablo.
But yeah, they've always kind of specialized in PC games, and then for them to come out with a game that they seem to be pushing as kind of kind of a mainstream title for the Diablo series on mobile. And then to say, like, don't you guys have phones in the Q&A?
I feel like
it's kind of insulting.
They were a little ready for some pushback, because when they announced they were going to console with some of their games, they got a little pushback, and they were kind of hoping like, yeah, you guys were upset. You'll get over it just like you did before. But this is something totally different, and they went really sassy about it.
I think it's important to also remember here that this is a second good example in the span of a month, maybe 2 months, of companies throwing out their huge AAA titles and just shitting it up real good. You know, you can't piggyback off of success just with a title and expect people to buy. I mean, you just can't. You know, I can't put the Shell brand on a bag of dog crap and expect people to be satisfied with it.
You know who can put their brand on a bag of dog crap and people to be satisfied is Cards Against Humanity.
They have done that.
They've done that before.
They have done that.
That's true.
They're the one person then, the one company that
Can anyone speak to how connected this is to the lore of the Diablo series?
Very connected. And this is the thing that like kind of killed me when I watched the announcement, was that it's the timeline of this game is at a really interesting point for the lore. It's after Diablo 2, so Tyrael just destroyed the World Stone with his sword, but before Diablo 3, and there's like a lot of cool stuff that happens in there, like what's happening to Tyrael, like directly following that time. What's Deckard doing? Like, we don't know what Deckard Cain has been up to since the end of Diablo 2. The Demon Hunters were founded during that. Like, there's like cool Diablo stuff that's happening then, and they're fucking wasting that lore on a mobile game.
This darn...
Do you think there's any chance you'll get a good story out of this game? Do you think Blizzard...
No chance.
Okay. I was just wondering. I don't either, but...
Do you think you're going to still play it when it comes out?
No, maybe. I might play
Honestly,
it,
I probably am, because it's Diablo and I need a game to play while I'm taking a crap.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel about it. But they're not going to put any substantive... I think because they're farming it out to NetEase, they're not going to really have any substantive story to be there. It'll be the story of like a scrappy group of heroes in a far-flung, not important, non-canon whatever.
I'm gonna play Diablo's advocate here, and say, what if we're all wrong and it's really good?
It's not. How is it?
What
Diablo
if it's like
game?
the best? What if it's like the? What if it's the best mobile game you've ever played?
No, here's why. Diablo was originally created for mouse and keyboard, and now after porting after porting it to console controls, which were okay, they're gonna port it to virtual joystick and buttons. Fuck no, that is never gonna feel good. It's never gonna play well.
All right.
Sorry.
Do we know if this is going to be a flat purchase game or a free to play?
It's going to be a free to play with microtransactions.
Then I think
is
the
even
game's
more
going to be
bullshitty.
terrible.
Yeah.
The game's going to be awful.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what they did with the last Diablo launch, and it did not work. Why are they trying it again?
Yeah, and that's one of the other things that worries me about this a lot is that after original launch of Diablo 3, prior to Reaper of Souls, Team 3, which is the team at Blizzard that was working on this project, got like a lot of people left, a lot of people went to different companies, and like the Diablo developer community really sort of had a brain drain. So
I'm very
I
wary.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
What do you think the difference between this and Hearthstone is? Like, why? Like, Hearthstone did not receive this backlash, but is still from a beloved franchise. It's not like directly tied in, but like it's kind of similar.
I think it's because it's a different game type.
Yeah, a couple of things. Like, first of all, Hearthstone came out on PC at least simultaneously, if not somewhat before mobile release. So there's that. Also, it's a game that plays just as well on mobile as it would on PC. So it's not like anybody's feeling a loss from that. And then third, I don't think Hearthstone was ever presented as it's not its own IP, right? Like World of Warcraft, or like Warcraft is its own IP. StarCraft is its own IP. Hearthstone is connected to Warcraft. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not its own thing. And so I feel like there's some forgiveness, and I don't want to say forgiveness, but there's allowance for like a spin-off title to be mobile as long as it's good. And the other thing is it's literally the same game on mobile that it is on other platforms.
So do you guys feel like, let's take Fallout for an example, take a Diablo break here. Do you feel like Fallout 76 would have been more successful if the genre were a different genre of game?
If it were a different IP or for a different genre?
If it were a different genre of game, it carried the Fallout title, but it didn't involve guns, like maybe turn it into a card game. Or
It wouldn't be
an RTS game, or
it wouldn't have really worked. I mean, I think it might have been more successful if it wasn't Fallout, but they wanted to use the Fallout name because of its recognition. I think that Fallout 76 just needed a little more time.
Fallout 76 needed a lot more. Fallout 76 needed something that was new, like needed a new idea.
And I still stand by the fact that Fallout 76 is fun, but they have fucked up this release hard. There's been more stuff coming out about it. Like they fucked up the special edition with like some of the bags they gave out were not what they advertised.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing something where on support tickets they were releasing information about other people's like personal data accidentally, like so other people could see each other's information.
Yeah.
It was a small group, but still, yeah.
So like, and they've just had like issue after issue, and it's been kind of ridiculous.
It's bad. It's bad, and it's not a good thing, especially with these large companies now, because they are thinking more businessy than they're thinking about the games, and that's what happened with Fallout 76. They're like, "Hey, we want to make this thing. We'll put it out." And they're like, well, we need more time. And of course, they're like, well, we need more time to make it good. And they're like, no, you got to release it this time. So here's the thing. And it's probably the same thing where at the what's it called?
Blizzard HQ.
At Blizzard HQ and at BlizzCon, they're like, we need something to release at BlizzCon because we don't have anything good to release at BlizzCon. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it seem like there's this big thing and it's this mobile thing. And so it's like there was a guy, probably their new CEO, who said, hey, we're going to use this because it's going to get a lot of money and we don't have to spend a lot of money to do it. And there was no one to be like, nah.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the higher ups now are marketing people and not
actual gaming visionaries or anyone who makes games or art. They just get money.
Here's what I don't understand. we get a new Assassin's Creed game that's pretty dang good every year, but we have to wait 10 years to get a new Diablo title. That's
Yes.
crazy.
The difference is that a lot of Blizzard's games are updated over time. Like, they're constantly releasing updates for WoW, for Diablo, for Overwatch, for HOTS, for...
Sure, but not like an
Whereas-
entire new Assassin's Creed worth of updates.
No, but those updates take time and people to work on them, whereas Ubisoft only has to release one game and maybe some DLCs and maybe some, like, not balance, but, like, stability
Patches,
updates. Yeah. But once the game's out, it's out.
I just feel like there's so much content generated there. I don't see why we couldn't have, like, Diablo's the kind of thing to me that lends itself to an iterative like sort of yearly release. You can release it with new characters, you can release it with new gear, you can release it with new maps.
They do new
you know what I
gear
mean?
with seasons.
I know, but it's not a ton of new gear. It's like a couple new sets, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's multiple times a year.
Sure. I guess I'm just saying that
It's small updates multiple times a year.
I feel like they could do more with the Diablo titles than they have.
I think what Ian's saying is that a new game with a new story carries more weight for him than.
But you'd
a
rather
new couple
pay
of items
$60
to
every year for a new
experience.
completely new story than
Not
have.
every
would.
year,
I wouldn't.
maybe.
It would overcrowd the market, and they've been gaming as a service instead of releasing single games forever.
Sure. I just like the cycle seems incredibly and unnecessarily long on this particular thing.
I just think-
I think it's just different business models.
Well, yeah, but I think to Ian's point that when the last Diablo game released, I was waiting for so long for it that when it had the problems it had, I was massively upset compared to other games.
Because you expect an Assassin's Creed to be buggy because they're like, yeah, they release a game every year.
It's every year.
Yeah.
Right. But when you release one every 10 years, like, don't screw it up.
Another thing to think about, the number of employees at Ubisoft is 13,000. The number of employees at Blizzard is 4,000.
Sure. I mean, I don't
all I'm
necessarily
trying to
think you're
say.
wrong. I'm just saying 10 years is a long time.
It's coming out, guys.
It's coming out next year.
I'm
coming
still
out.
waiting for StarCraft Ghosts.
Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
Okay, I think something else that's really interesting that was brought up at the Q&A and was kind of made fun of, actually, and a reason that this game got such a poor reception was the question that was brought up by somebody that literally just asked if this was a late April Fool's joke, which obviously that felt like a super troll. But the reality is, in 2014, I doubt anyone really remembers, but you know how Blizzard always releases their April Fool's jokes?
Yeah, of course.
Are you going to do the... I don't want to steal your thunder, never mind.
Oh, no. In 2014, Diablo Mobile was a real April Fool's joke.
What do you mean Diablo? Oh, I see. Gotcha.
So
well, and they have a
it was a little
history
different.
of making their April Fool's jokes into reality. I mean, that's what the Pandaren were. Weren't they an April Fool's joke at first?
I think
yeah,
so.
they were kind of
Yeah.
an April Fool's joke. But like,
And
yeah,
so
this,
was the Rockstar Taran that ended up in Heroes of the Storm.
Oh, ETC?
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I think that's been blown up a little bit and made fun of a lot. But I think it's a good question considering the Happy Reaper Ascend to Victory game was a thing that they made an April Fool's joke in 2014. So just saying.
I don't necessarily agree with you, but I do think that they handled that Q&A session incredibly poorly, and
Really
the
bad.
announcement itself was just so it was really hard to watch.
I know we're trying to wrap up here, but I did want to ask, do you guys think that this is representative of where Blizzard's heading now? I mean, there's been a lot of bad Blizzard press recently too. I mean, the new WoW expansion the reception for it hasn't been great.
The recent Overwatch bugs that prevented people from playing the holiday patch.
I didn't hear about that, but that's
Yeah, they had to shut down Blizzard World.
shit. HOTS losing some support, and they're not going to be doing the
Esports.
The esports stuff, the Heroes
Yeah,
Grand
they're dropping
Championship.
HOTS. I don't know.
It was the way they announced that too, which kind of plays into this whole idea of them releasing things poorly.
I mean,
I think it's just leveling out.
it's
Like
that
the company dumping dead weight.
Yeah, and it's definitely they got their CEO for 27 years stepped down in October, and so it's a new guy. And whenever you have a new leadership, any company whatsoever,
Yeah, he wants to make his mark.
he's changing things. So you're gonna notice this. Like, this is in Blizzard, things are gonna be different for a while until somebody comes up and says, "Hey, we need to go back to the way it's supposed to be." And if nobody has the ability to do that, then it's just going to keep going the way of EA and Ubisoft and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, Ubisoft's been a lot better recently. Far Cry 5 and the last 2 Assassin's Creeds have been pretty good.
I kind of get this feeling like, I know this is a big company, but when we were talking about Telltale Games and looking at how they announced the way they did about dropping esports, they left a lot of people hanging. And although they weren't necessarily people who worked for the company, they were people who left school to play this game professionally and had worked and gotten into a team now, and that's why they left school. Or people who had bought an apartment for their team and, you know, real life things that are now seriously affected by this, and they're just dropped by it. So it is kind of alarming in a way that they were left in the dark for as long as they were, and then they just poof, we're dropping this. That's kind of scary.
That's business.
Yes.
Lord business.
All right. Well, on that super high peppy note, we're going to end the first half. So if you're feeling real good about yourself in your life, stick with us because we've got more coming after the break. Listen to these guys. These are guys great. All right, everybody. This is Ian. Thank you so much for dropping in for episode 45 of the GameBrew podcast, our Festivus episode. Hope you are enjoying yourself. Just wanted to drop in to say, if you wanted to support us, you can go over to Humble Bundle and sign up through the link bit.ly/GameBrew. It'll give us a little kickback. It's awesome. Also, thanks for all your ideas. There are some ideas from people in our community on this show that became a whole topic for us. The whole first half was an idea for one of you good people out there in our listenership. So thanks. Keep sending us the good stuff. Also, don't forget to share us around. We love it when people discover our show. We're making it for y'all, so the more people, the better. So, yeah, get it out there on the Instagram, on Facebook, on the Twitter, on all the social medias. And don't forget to like, review, and subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for supporting us. And let's get back to the episode. All right, hello, and welcome back to the second half of the GameBrew podcast, episode 45. Checking in with those brews. How we doing, Dan?
Gotta open the thing again. It's spicy.
Oh, bam.
No,
Okay,
it's
Festivus, yes.
It's spicy. And that's one of the things that is interesting about holiday beers like St. Festivus and other beers. Because a lot of other beers just say, you know what, it's got hints of this and it's got hints of that. But whenever it's a holiday brew, it's like, this is an ale. It's brewed with spices. What spices? A fuck ton of spices. Drink it. And you do, and it's like overwhelmingly flavorful. And that's what happens to me a lot. I get like overwhelmed by flavors. There's just so much in here, but it's good.
Yeah.
Is there anything that stands out?
So like baking spices or nutmeg or like traditional Christmas things, or?
This one is interesting because it does have ginger. It has a lot of fresh ginger in it. So you get a little bit of the almost literal spiciness from that ginger that's in it. So
I like that's probably great.
That's kind of
I'm into
interesting.
that.
But
Yeah.
Chris, what about you, man?
Madahel's kind of the same way. Also, it's a potable. It's 11%.
it is. It gets you fucked up.
It's
My dad's. It's shout out to Brian Roth's, Dick Roth's the greater.
Senior
no,
Dick
he's
Rots.
greater. But he's no. My grandfather was Dick Rots, the greatest. But the greater is my father. He loves this. He gets it every year, and he just loves Mad Elf so much.
So it's got cherries and honey and cloves and allspice and cinnamon.
I think
And
2000
spicy Belgian yeast. My cousin actually, she lives in Indianapolis, but whenever she comes home, she gets a bunch of this because it's her favorite.
It's the best.
That's cool. My Bernardus is good. It's a little bit straight ahead for me. I wish it had a little bit something more than just being sort of a darker quadruple.
My white ale is gone, and I had
Are you
3
sad?
deep fried Oreos
Oh,
before the
Will's
podcast.
feeling fat and sassy.
So I don't think I can.
and sassy.
I can't put anything else in my body. Have you seen the YouTube video of the old, or it's like this old lady getting interviewed by a newscaster, and somehow Christmas comes up. She's like, "What are you going to do for Christmas?" "I guess I'll just sit around and get fat and sassy."
I was talking about Rejected. But
Yeah,
that's
my
okay.
spoon's too big.
Oh no, this is a real woman.
It's too big. Allison, how's your rum drink treating you?
I'm a little drunk, so I'm great. I'm doing
Hooray!
awesome.
She's
There
all
it is.
warm.
I am.
And a onesie and drunk.
Yes.
That's the way to be.
The way
It's a
one
Good
can
Friday.
only hope to be on a Festivus Eve.
Yes, indeed. And I think it's time that we begin this year's Festivus rituals. Of course, during Festivus, there are many important things that we must
Should
do
put
to
some
make sure we're celebrating
Sleigh bells in
correctly.
here or something.
No sleigh
Maybe
bells.
like
That's
those-
associated
that's-
with something else.
Ah.
Yeah, I think maybe we need to keep it to like aluminum pole
There's a
sounds.
reason that Kringle guy's not on the podcast.
Yeah.
Let's keep him out of
So,
it.
the first thing is...
Admittedly, we're doing this out of
yeah.
order, but let's start with Feats of Strength.
Yeah, let's start with Feats of Strength. So traditionally, Festivus, the thing is that for Festivus to come to its conclusion and for the Festivus Miracle to happen, the head of the household must be challenged and beaten in a game, a feat of strength, usually wrestling, by another member of the household. But because we are only meeting digitally, we're not in the same room, we decided to put our greatest gaming achievements up against one another. We'll do it in round robin, single elimination style. Wait, no. Round robin? I don't know.
I don't. No one knows any sports terms
We'll do
here.
it in single elimination. So I'm just gonna pair up people, and then if you lose, you're out.
Okay.
Okay. So this is gonna be the first round is Dan versus Will.
Well, okay, fine.
Chris, can I get some music in here for this? Dan versus Will. All right. So Dan strikes first.
I
Dan,
do?
what is your greatest gaming achievement?
So, my greatest gaming achievement in Peggle 2, there is an achievement that you have to get that means you've gotten every single Peggle in the game. And me and my roommates spent a good year and a half trying to get every single peg in Peggle 2. And we did do that. So,
Wow.
so
That's solid.
It took a while, but we did it.
Okay.
And it was
okay,
great.
Good. Nice, Dan. That was a solid punch. Let's try and keep it above the belt. Will, what do you got?
So my feat of strength for this, and one of my biggest achievements in life, not just in gaming, in life. Growing up, when I was in high school, I worked at the Holiday Inn in town. And it was a gigantic banquet and event center. And one of the perks was we got to use that for LAN parties. Kids, that's before high-speed internet was as ubiquitous as it was now. And when we wanted to play games with people, we had to haul all our shit to one room and hook it up to a network, get it working.
Hook up all
And
the
then
individual computers in their
we had
own
to
network.
run
Plug
wires
them together.
to a switch or a hub, plug them together, not trip over them, and then drink a god-awful amount of Mountain Dew and eat a bunch of Oreos.
Well, Funyuns for some of you.
Funyuns, yep.
Yeah. So we're
so that
wandering
was one of
into-
the perks.
Okay, yeah.
And we always had a Christmas LAN party every year, and it happened right before Christmas. And once we had a LAN party for 3 full days, 72 hours, and it ended Christmas Eve. So I lasted 3 days with no sleep, none, and then made it to my grandparents for Christmas Eve, and then promptly fell asleep on the couch, and I do not remember that Christmas.
Bet his girlfriend
Apparently, at
wishes he could
some
say
point, my mom tried to wake me up, and I responded with, "What the hell is wrong with you? I'm sleeping."
That's a
That
recipe
that-
for a mom slapping.
that
You yelled
apparently
at Hallie Shell? What the
that
fuck is wrong
apparently
with
did
you?
not go over well,
It
but I'm
would
told
not.
that's what I said. That's my greatest feat of strength. I made it 3 days straight and slept
Wow.
through Christmas
That's
for
a
the love
feat.
of games.
All right, so
Damn
now Chris, Allison, and I need to vote
Damn
to
it.
determine whether Dan or
I feel like I
has the
just
greater
shit
feat
to
of
bet on
strength.
this one. I didn't come out with the A game.
I feel like those are both things that you want on a resume for a husband. But
Yeah, yeah.
Can
I'm
can
gonna
last
side
for
with
72
Will.
hours and then go to your grandma's house.
I'm gonna. I feel like. No, I don't want to be biased. No, Allison and Chris, you need to vote first.
I did. I voted for Will.
Chris.
I think I'm going to vote for Will as well. I'm
Right.
sorry, Dan.
It's all right. It was like a preseason game. I came out with the
Yep.
C team, and
Yep.
Wait, Dan, can you please do this like a NASCAR driver instead? Can you?
I want
Can
to
you give us the rundown of what
I think
happened?
we have a great team. We got a good supporter here.
So we had a good round, but I think
No, you have to talk like 18 times faster. Yeah, man, I think we had a good round. We had
I think everything was
couple
really
issues going
good.
into
We
left
did really
turn.
well. We went around the corners real fast, but I think some people just drove faster than we did, and that's how NASCAR works.
Thank you.
Good job going left, boys.
So now, Will is moving on to the next round. This is Chris versus Allison. Chris versus Allison. Allison, you're gonna go first. Your greatest gaming feat of strength.
Oh, mine's so lame. At the last convention I was at, I'm going to call this my greatest feat of strength because I was really proud of myself. I beat 6 of my friends in Street Fighter and was undefeated at the end of it on the arcade console. And I played only Chun-Li.
Nice.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
that's what you do.
6
what you do.
wins, only
6
Chun-Li.
solid wins against my nerdy gamer friends. It felt good. It felt good.
So I'm going to pull out my big gun first after seeing what happened with
Oh
Dan.
shit!
See, I knew it.
God damn it!
And I think I've talked about this before, but I am the proud owner of a time lost proto drake on my WoW account, which is a rare spawn of a rare spawn, and so it shares the spawn of a rare spawn that happens only 6 to 22 hours. Like, so after it dies, it'll spawn again between 6 to 22 hours afterwards. But it's also only got a small % chance to spawn from that same thing. So it shares a spawn with this other dragon called Viragosa.
I don't want to do math.
So there are not a. This is another one of those mounts that people try for weeks and set up alarms and have their game running for
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
months, and they won't even see it. And I am the proud owner of it.
Wow, that's awesome. And how long did it take you to get it?
I stumbled upon it.
You son of a bitch!
That's not a feat of strength. That's luck. I just want to remind you guys that my character, you can't see my foot, so I'll do this. Yeah.
Part
That's
of-
a feat of strength.
She's waving her arm up and
Part
down
of the
very
strength.
quickly.
Part of winning is luck.
Part of
Is it,
winning
though?
is luck.
It's good timing. It's
If you're
setting
not first,
yourself
you're
up.
last.
It's
In the
setting
spirit
yourself
of
up for
Festivus.
success.
All right. We're gonna vote now. All right, Dan, Will, what are your votes?
Why are you always going to me first?
Sorry, you're in the top left hand.
Son of a bitch! I'm gonna go with Allison on this one because the fighting games are hard to beat people at.
They are. I gotta go with Chris on this one though, because having something so rare is an achievement, no matter how you got it.
The funny thing
Like,
is,
for
Allison knows
collectors,
that it's
that's a
rare
big deal.
too.
I do know it's rare, but you said it was luck. It took no effort.
I don't
That
wanna
makes
be
me
the
angry.
It doesn't
Oh,
matter.
you did it
It
to
doesn't
yourself.
matter.
You could have got
It's-
first.
It doesn't matter because I have it.
And if you're not first, you're last.
And because I have it, it makes it
First, you're
powerful.
last.
All right, so Allison, you beat all of your friends with Chun-Li.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, you got lucky.
Man, I wish that was me.
I was in the right place at the right time and was able to defeat something that was over my level as well. I barely survived. No, it knocked me off my mount. It knocked me off my mount, and I was luckily an engineer, so I parachuted down and was able to kill it.
It literally ran into you, and I'm so mad about this.
All right, I'm gonna go with Chris.
I was up all night too.
I'm throwing my vote in with Chris. He
It's all right, Allison.
That's
Allison,
fine.
we
something
suck.
about the
High
parachute
five.
got me.
High five. Dan's the only one I like anyway.
Boom.
Bye.
Boom. We're gonna start our own
All right, so
podcast. It's called
Yeah.
With blackjack and hookers.
Blackjack and hooker.
Does that mean Dan's name on the podcast is Blackjack and my name's
No,
Hooker?
reverse it.
Oh, yeah, makes more sense.
All right, so Will versus Chris. This is for the Festivus.
Wait, what about you, Ian? Don't you have any gaming achievements?
I'm the head of the household. You have to wrestle me.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Whatever they
That's
do,
fair.
they have to wrestle you. I get it. Okay.
All right, Will, Chris, greatest gaming achievements. Let's go. What do you got? Can't use the same one twice.
Well, this one time I was up all night and I found a time lost prototype. No. I have beaten all 3 fables, including the last terrible one.
Ooh. Is that a feat of strength or sad?
It took
a
strength to
Someone's
get
still
through.
feeling a little bit salty about the first
It
round.
took strength to get through it.
That's funny that you picked that, because my second feat of strength, and you guys will remember this on the podcast, I beat all 3 Mass Effect games in, what was it, 3.5 days. It
But you couldn't beat one Dark Souls boss.
was basically a weekend.
Oh shit.
This is brutal. I like it.
This is true.
Ooh,
I hate that
going
game.
for
I
the
hate Dark Souls.
for the jugular.
So Chris, I forgot what Chris said.
3 terrible games.
No.
Chris
A
made
great
three
game,
terrible
a
games.
mediocre game, and a bad game.
I'll go first. I pick Will because it was timed. I like that.
I'm
You're just
also gonna
bitter.
go. I'm
am
also
also
gonna go with because
bitter,
I'm also
but that
gonna
has
go
nothing
with
to do
Will
with this.
because the timeline was very impressive as well.
Yeah.
All right, that round is going to go to Will. Will, congratulations. You are the official semifinalist.
I didn't know we had to have it
assembly
timed.
finalist.
Wait,
They
I
came
thought it was
out
a-
like
We
10
didn't-
years away
I
from
thought
each
I
other.
won.
We didn't, but that made it more impressive.
you won the right to wrestle the head of the household, which is
Yeah.
Ian.
I
This is
understand.
me.
Okay.
So now we have to
Okay.
wrestle.
So you have to use it's
Wrestle.
his best achievement versus your third best achievement. The
Which
first
is-
2 are the
Like I
regular.
had to construct it
seems
that way
fair.
because my best achievements are really not that impressive. All right, here we go. Will, you have to go first because I'm the head of the household.
Okay. So mine is a redemption story, and this dates back to OG PlayStation and the first Resident Evil. And you will recall, you go around that corner and you see that first zombie turn up from eating that body looking at you
I do recall, in fact.
It's very spooky.
and starts
Very
to walk
spooky.
at you. And then you try to use the controls to shoot it or run, and you can't because whoever designed that
Tank
control
controls.
scheme was a horrible human being. So I was playing at my buddy Ryan's house. And we were playing, and I had the controller, and that scared 6 or 7-year-old Will so much that I disappeared, and they found me in the other room, sitting on top of his freezer, crying and eating Oreos. And they made so much fun of me that I finished my Oreos. I went back in that room. I went through that same scene. And I killed that damn zombie.
Yes. Yes. Fight your demons.
Oh,
Just to
my
prove
God.
a point.
Preach.
Wow.
Preach.
And that can be verified.
Okay. All right. So Will killed the first zombie in Resident Evil 1, ladies and
After
gentlemen.
much
Will
ridicule,
overcame his fears, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I overcame my fears and was made fun of, and I ate Oreos while crying on a freezer.
We've all been there.
Here we go. Everybody ready for this?
Yes.
Will may have killed one zombie in Resident Evil, but I beat Dark Souls, you son of a bitch.
No.
You know how many
That is an
zombies,
Wait.
and dragons, and shit
You have to go through?
you beat one.
Okay, I know Will beat me, and this is not me being like losers go, but still, that's like a significant emotional journey you have to go through.
God, significant emotional journey.
That
my ass.
is.
These are feats of strength,
You know what a
Dan.
significant emotional journey is?
Losing Solaire is a significant emotional journey.
I never lost Solaire because I'm a good gamer.
I'm going to give this to Ian, and for one reason. Will hasn't beaten that feat of strength. And I think Ian has killed some zombies in Resident Evil.
Will gets my vote. Will gets my vote. So.
Ian has my vote.
Ian has my
Chris?
vote.
Yes!
Ah,
The head
Just-
of household remains.
That-
Until
I
next
made
year.
it this far.
until next year, ladies and gentlemen. Until next year. All right, that's it for feats of strength. We're going on to the
Airing of
classic
Grievances.
Festivus. This is the classic. I mean, I think it's important just at the end of the year. You know, at Christmas, they tell the
Hey.
truth. At Christmas, they tell the truth. In Festivus, we air our grievances.
Yes,
so that's
it's
what we're
true.
gonna do right.
I really like
Yeah.
that. It's like
It's kind of healthy in a way.
it really is. Like it's a good time. Like you've had a year to think about it and really nail down things that have been bugging the shit out of you for a while.
Yeah.
And also, we've been drinking heavily, so yay!
Yay!
Yeah.
Alcohol.
So, in summary, I got a lot of problems with you people, and now you're gonna hear about it.
Whoa.
First of all, Will, you have to stop eating loud food during recordings.
Dang it, that was mine.
I have to
No,
snack.
you do not. You don't have to snack on loud foods. No cucumbers, no chips, no soup.
And we can edit it
No.
out. We can
It's not
take it
okay.
out.
Listen, this is the airing of grievances,
Just because
not the arguing of grievances.
You want when you record something, you want it to be as pristine as possible, so you don't have to edit things out.
I literally vote that we force Will to eat with chopsticks instead of spoons for the rest of his life because I'm tired of hearing them.
No, but then you're just gonna hear this. You're just gonna hear.
That might be better than ting 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 ting.
Is it really that bad?
Yes.
Chris, this one's for you. Your voice is just way too sultry. You need to stop it. I can't.
I mean,
Can't talk to you
that's
anymore.
just how I sound, I guess. I don't know.
I'm
I'm gonna try. Here, I'll just talk like this. Is that better?
It's perfect. Did it.
Perfect.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Fix it.
Great.
Who is next? Dan. Dan, this one's gonna be hard to take.
Oh God.
I just need you to steel yourselves.
And do what?
You need to steel yourself. You
Like
need to,
Colossus.
prepare. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ka-chink.
Dan,
I'm
stop
Russian
not
now.
playing Space Dwarves with me. I'm so desperate to play more Deep Rock Galactic, and for some reason I can't convince you to play with me.
I got it. I'm coming in, man. I'll do it. I promise. We're gonna play some space dwarves. It's gonna happen.
Okay, great. Allison, I saved yours to the last because it makes me the saddest.
Oh no.
Oh,
You really need to have a Switch so that you can come Smash with us, and so that you can play all of the great Switch games. It's inappropriate for you to not have a Switch.
This one hurts the most.
That's
Okay.
it. That's what I got for my grievances. Does somebody else want to let some things fly here for a second?
sure. I'll start.
This is the awkwardest moment of the game.
Dan, when
Yeah.
I play online games with you, I want you to get a little less frustrated sometimes. You know, you
That's asking
get
a
really
lot, man.
aggressive, man.
That's asking a lot.
I think there's a positive aspect to this, which is whenever before Dan gets frustrated, he gets to really intense Dan mode, and you hear a lot of this. You can just like, you can hear the concentration happening. It's a really beautiful thing.
Is that
Like,
concentration?
damn it.
That's what that noise is? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what that is. Yeah. Ask any of my ex-girlfriends, they'll tell you.
Sorry, the last horse crossed the finish line there. That was my bad. Will, I want you to be a little more open in 2019 to your ideas of what makes a good game.
Wow.
And not just assume if it's not a shooting, rootin', tootin', shooting game.
But
if it doesn't do
if
that,
it
then it's a
work,
bad game.
You've got a formula that
What?
works.
He was grumpy gamer guy.
Chris, you cut.
Get
Chris
off
is
my
cutting straight
keyboard.
to the quick. He's not pulling any punches. I'm like worried about myself now.
I'm trying to think. I don't remember what I had for Allison and Ian.
You don't have to have one for everyone. These are your grievances, Chris, and if you just have grievances for the people on the podcast that suck, it's fine.
If it's just me and Will, that's fine.
Ian, I just wish
Fucking
you were a little
crock.
less rude sometimes.
If you don't want to yell at mom and dad, we understand.
And Allison, I wish you didn't hate me for beating you
At what?
for the feats of strength.
Oh, that was a fluke.
All right. Will.
All right. Now, Will.
All right. Yeah. All right, Allison,
Hi.
you've got, it depresses me. You depress me so much. You
Me
have
too.
got to get a chair to sit in.
The laundry's just.
It depresses me so much that you're sitting on your laundry room floor. You are clearly below dryer door level.
I know. Okay.
And it makes me so, like, I'm uncomfortable for you.
No, I'm fine. But
That's
next,
the alcohol speaking.
Maybe. I mean, it helps that we drink on this.
It does.
But next month, I will have an actual
Nice.
setup, so I will fix your grievance.
Okay, perfect. Ian,
Yes.
it's time
For
for you to let something go.
what do you mean?
Chris wants me to open up to what good games are, and I want you to open your mind to accepting bad games and stop giving them repeated chances. They're not an adolescent. They don't need to learn their lesson.
What are you talking about?
It's time that you let go of No Man's Sky. It wasn't a good release. It's not a good game.
Have you played it?
It's never. I don't care how many times they patch
Have you
it.
played it?
It's not going to be a good game. This is about Ian right now, Chris.
It's about
These
Ian,
are my
goddammit.
grievances right now.
This is Will's intervention for Ian. We don't get to ask questions like, is it okay that he's having this intervention?
I don't
I'm
want to
just
let
saying.
go. I could let go anytime I wanted to. I just don't want to.
Sure.
Still want to. And Chris, I actually didn't have any
Oh,
grievances.
I was a good boy this year.
So you're perfect, you son of a bitch.
There was nothing I could come up with for Chris that would have been legitimate.
Well,
Appreciate
Allison,
that.
your grievances.
Okay, I'm gonna try here, but we kind of hit on the spoon thing already, so that's gone. So Will, instead, what I'm gonna say for you, I'm gonna say I'm not actually sure you play video games
Oh!
because I never see you doing it, and you don't do it with us. So I think
This is true.
you actually need to play video games next year. That's my grievance.
Oh, Chris, you're not allowed to clap during other people's grievances.
It's like when you agree with something, or like the golf.
The golf clap.
Yes, Bob, yes.
I will be able to play in December 2019 when I finish my.
Okay, I'm holding you to it. I will find you and stab you
As
if
for
it doesn't
National Basketball Association, he's finishing that.
National.
National.
happen. Dan.
What?
So
I'm perfect, never change.
so
Oh.
so you did like kind of like Will, but not really. You did die on us and become a cowboy, and then
I'm a
and then
cowboy.
and then you got into Persona, and now you're playing Smash. So I can't play games with you guys, and that's a problem.
I think that goes back to the part where you need to get a Switch.
Okay, well that brings up my grievance for...
It's her grievances, damn it.
Yeah, that brings up my grievance for Chris. And I literally put this in before this was brought up. You all have a Switch, and I specifically have decided to blame Chris. So I can't play Smash with you guys. And
Because
this
of Chris?
Misplaced Aggression is now on Chris. And it's his fault.
Which is funny because I was like against the Switch when it first came out.
I know, Ian got it first.
Yeah, so this is now your fault.
You son of a bitch.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that.
It's my bad.
And Ian, you live too far away and it makes me upset, so stop it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's a fair grievance. There's nothing I can say about that.
That's the other reason I don't play games a lot is because it's always late at night.
He's
and I'm
old.
tired.
There's one person that's late up.
That's
There
up
one
late.
late up person.
I said it.
Person one is late. It's up.
See, the thing is, I never sleep, but I don't have time for games, and that's the sad part. Okay, that's all my grievances. Yeah.
All right, that's the grievances. And Dan, lay him on us, buddy.
All right, I'm
I
gonna
don't
lay it
know
on
if I
you.
should have saved you for last. I'm a little worried.
Oh, you
Dan's
should
the
be.
most. Dan's
I feel
the
like
most. Like he's.
I feel like Dan's
I'm
gonna
like
go
that
hammer
quiet
time
kid in the
here.
corner who's like, he's gonna flip out one day.
So you just
Well, I'm
keep giving
glad
him
I'm gonna be
candy
nice
bars
to
and
him,
be
so-
like, "We're cool, bro. Right?
Yeah.
We're cool. We're cool."
Okay. So Allison, I'm gonna start with you. Allison,
Oh, no. Hi.
stop being so goddamn nice, like to us all the time. Like we're giant assholes, and I feel like sometimes you're too nice to us whenever we're just like, hey, Allison is the mistress of time, so she's in charge of making sure that we keep everything to a certain thing. She's like, well, we were talking for a little while, and I think it was really good. I'm like, no, be the time mistress. Hit us with the whips and the chains and
Dan likes the whips and chains.
chains and whips excite me. What can I say? Me and
That's
Rihanna,
fair.
we got that in common. So there's that one. Chris, buy less video games so that we can like effectively determine your needs. It's hard right now because it's like, what does Chris need? Whatever he doesn't fucking have. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad about that.
Hello Kitty Island Adventure. There we
He,
go.
I mean, no, he has that one already.
Oh, shit.
That's pretty true.
He has
What's
that
funny
one.
is that I haven't even activated like all my my keys from Humble Bundle. There's still just
they're just sitting in,
shitload
they're just
sitting in
fucking
there.
sitting in there, growing dust. All right. Actually, the biggest thing is, please upload your files like right away. Don't.
It's usually
I'm laughing because it usually is me.
It's the only times every time I've had to edit the podcast, it's been like, all right, I could do this. It's great, except I gotta wait for Will to upload all of his stuff.
It's Ian. You're confusing me with Ian.
I'm so sorry.
Maybe I had more early in 2018 that I just don't
Maybe.
remember.
I don't know. But that's all I remember is I'm just like, I would do this if it wasn't for fucking Will not uploading his fuck. And Ian, beautiful Ian.
Sweet Ian.
Ian. God. I want you to live in an area where the time zone is just more beneficiary to everybody else on the podcast, basically.
There we go.
I
Two
always
people.
feel-
Same grievance. Got
No,
it.
I'm so sorry, but it's like, it's sometimes whenever it's like, yeah, I gotta have this business meeting at 10 o'clock at night, and it's like, well, it's 6 o'clock for Ian, so it's like, well, shit. I wish it was during business hours.
What's funny is I wrote that down and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that one and do a different one for Ian. But I had the same one written down, and I
Can we
Ian
have a
has
raise
to
of
move.
hands? Who said Ian lives on the West Coast is the problem?
I mean, I say it now.
All right, cool.
I agree.
Just for you listeners who can't see, that would be 4 out of 5
That
hands.
was
my
4 out
hand
of 5.
being the 5th dissenting hand.
So that's it. That's my stuff.
All right.
I'm glad we did that. Does everyone feel better?
I do
Glad
also.
we aired our
We're
grievances.
we're 30 minutes in, so whips and chains.
Whips and chains. Whips and chains, indeed.
Whips and chains.
Who would that be a reference to?
To me?
What the hell was that? Oh my god. You guys, he hasn't been here for... Give me a second.
Is it?
Jesus Christ.
It's Johnny Two Hammers.
No,
think it's
it
Johnny
sounded
Two
more
Hammers?
like a leather bullwhip than it sounded like actual hammer.
It's
there
my
we go.
boo.
It's him. He's back.
Hello!
It's
It's
been
Good
so
to
long.
see you!
It's been so long.
How
We
have you
missed
been?
you so
Festivus.
much.
It's Merry Festivus to me, the mandatory
Merry
fund commissioner, and
Festivus.
also to you, I guess, but it's not
Yes.
as important.
Oh, okay.
How are you all doing? I've missed you so much.
Did you? We're great. We're great.
We're good. Just
I
been
mean, the
playing
fun is
some games,
mandatory. The
you know?
missing is not. But it's good to see you. How's everybody?
Good. How's your?
It's
Do you
good.
celebrate
Good,
Festivus?
I do. You know what? I've got this big bag here, actually.
Oh,
I
That
know
sounds
you.
my
more
God,
like
is
Christmas.
Is this the Festivus Miracle?
It's a Festivus Miracle, everyone. Yes. Yeah, guys. I'm sorry.
What?
There's duct tape. I don't know what's going on.
That's fine, Dan. We don't need you anymore.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
Fine. I'll be over here.
Crying.
What is the Festivus MFC? What's the
Well, whether you
Festivus
believe
Miracle?
it or not, I've actually secretly made you all buy presents for each other.
How'd you
So
trick us?
Cute. I did. Because I'm very scheming and very cute because I'm the mandatory fund commissioner.
I thought I felt something in my back pocket the other day.
That wasn't
then we
his
shouldn't
hand.
talk about that on the podcast. It's inappropriate for the young ones. I know that this is a family podcast, so
GameBrew facts.
that's not a thing. So, but basically, each one of you has a secret Santa, or a secret Saint Festivus, rather.
Man.
Or a secret mandatory fund commissioner. I don't know which one I prefer. But this is the one I will do. So I'm going to grab I have this big sack. So I'm going to grab a present out of this for someone. So here, let me just reach in here and... If you were editing a podcast and you had to put ancillary sounds in, it's where you would put the ones where I'm looking through a bag.
MFC? Have you been using word of the day toilet paper again? That was a good use
Perhaps
of
that
the
was
word
a good
ancillary.
Festivus gift from last year. Thank you, Will. It was very nice of you to get that for me.
You are very welcome.
All right. So the first gift is for Ian. This one's for you.
Oh my gosh! Thank you so much. Who is it from?
Well, first you have to open it first. So
All
open
right,
up
let
that
me
package.
open it.
All right.
Oh my gosh!
It's Below. It's the game Below.
Below BLOW.
No.
Is that appropriate?
Starring Johnny Depp.
No, Below. BELOW. It looks
Oh.
like. Let me see. Let me read this thing here. Oh, it's from Wilhelm.
Oh, thanks, Will.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It looks like your kind of game.
Action adventure roguelike dungeon crawler sounds like right up my alley.
Described in 3 words: explore, survive, discover. It's from Capybara.
Capybara is the largest. It's the largest rodent on the planet.
It's.
Oh, good. Well, it's from Capybara Games, and it looks right up your alley. It's kind of a top-down 2D-ish sort of thing. It's more like at an angle. It's
Would
not.
you call it
You're not straight down.
isometric?
You're not from the side. Sure, it's like at a weird angle, but it looks like something you'll enjoy. The music is
Have you played it?
really good. No, I haven't. I watched some videos. The music looks really, really, really good. Apparently, it's got a really steep difficulty curve to it as well, which is also right up Ian's alley. And it's one of those things. It looks like it has a story that's minimally told, but with great depth.
I'm
I
also
will-
very interested that you could see the music. You may have something wrong with your brain, but that's fine. All right, here we go. Next present. I love presents. Here we go. Digging through the bag. Foley artists galore. They're all doing exactly what it would sound like to be searching through packages to find this one and this one. Let's see. It looks like it goes to Allison. Let's see. Allison, why don't you open up this present here?
Okay.
and it looks like it is making a strange sound. La 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 katamare damasi.
Oh, that's a
That
good
is a
gift.
good gift. I'm excited.
Let's see, who's it? It looks like it is from Christopher.
Chris, how did you know I love rolling things into balls?
Because I do too.
Yay! Thank you.
Christopher.
I saw that on the internet once.
Oh no.
It's not good.
That's very depressing. So, but no, that's a good gift. I like that one.
I'm excited.
That one is great. That's a good
Thank
job,
you,
Christopher.
Chris.
Of course.
Good job, Christopher.
I hope you enjoy rolling your balls.
I will.
All right, here we go. Digging through the bag. Do. All right, and this one is for. Oh, yes. This one is for Wilhelm. Wilhelm, why don't you open this one?
Ooh.
Whoa, that's a
Stop
weird box.
shaking it. Just open it.
Yes, there we go. Oh, it looks like it is the video game Prey. Oh, the space exploration. Oh, yes. Oh, that's right.
Ooh, I've already got Eat and Love. I'm so excited to play that. I've been missing the middle
different
one.
Prey. It's like the one where there are things that eat other things. So, but in space.
Oh, that.
And it looks like it's from Daniel. Oh, that's from Daniel. Daniel, you got Wilhelm's gift.
Thanks, Dan.
Prey is very good.
Does he like it? Is it good? Do you like it, Wilhelm?
Oh yeah, this is awesome. And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Alex actually work on some of the audio work?
He did. I think
I'm not
Mr.
mistaken.
Writer did work on some of the audio effects for this game.
That's awesome. Now I'm doubly excited
He's
to play.
twice.
This is
I'm
cool.
gonna tell
Thank you.
Daniel. He's twice as excited. That's really cool. Thanks, man. Can I come out of the closet now? No, stay in there. All right. Anyway, okay. Let's see. We've got some more presents here. Who hasn't gotten a present yet?
The guy in the closet, I think.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think someone else has it. Hold on, let me dig through here. Digging through the bag. Oh, Christmas present is for you. It has your name on it. Doodly doodly doo.
No, it's not a Christmas present. So Chris is not involved.
It's true. It's a Festivus present, so it's for us, right? No, it's for Chris. All right. So Chris, why don't you open this one for me?
Yeah.
All right, and it looks like the game you've gotten is Bad North. Ooh.
For Nintendo Switch.
Oh,
For
for
the
Switch.
Yes, for the
Ooh.
Switch.
Is that's the one that's like you have to
It's like a
defend
little
against
mini-
Vikings, right?
Yeah, it's a little mini strategy game.
Ooh.
So basically, they're like bad guys attacking your island, and you have to defend your island using strategy.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you. That's awesome.
That sounds very cool.
welcome.
Awesome. So Merry Festivus to you.
Happy
Daniel.
Festivus.
Daniel!
Thank you.
Daniel! Daniel, come here. You have to pick out your Festivus present. I think it's for you. All right. Okay. So I need a present or something like that? All right. Cool. All right. So here we go. That's cool. It's lots of wrapping. All right. Ugh. Okay. Looks like this is. Oh! Look at that! It looks like you have gotten the game. It is Shower with Your Dad Simulator 2015. That's very interesting. It looks like it's from Allison.
Yeah,
Cool.
That's a
that's
real
a
thing.
real thing. It has overwhelming reviews. Into the positive.
Like there's just
so-
I was gonna say overwhelming reviews. Like there's
They're
just a lot of
overwhelming.
them.
Well,
yeah.
It's age restricted
It
on
is.
Steam.
I
I
mean-
mean, to be fair, I do like most of my stuff to be restricted to age. So
Yeah, you know.
cool.
I,
Thanks very much, Allison.
you're
That's
welcome.
I love it.
I think it'll be a great experience.
I look
You
forward
should play
to
it
playing
with
this.
your dad.
I don't know about that. But
What is this called again?
Shower with your dad
looks like
simulator.
it's
Please
called
watch the video on
Shower
Steam.
with Your Dad Simulator 2015. I guess we're all playing these games this week. MFC, is that correct? Oh yes, that will be what we're doing this week. You will be playing the games which you have gotten in the grab bag full of mischief from Saint Festivus, and it will be a fun time. Or it won't. Who knows?
Yay! Adventure!
Hey, adventure. Okay, well, I've done my job. Goodbye.
We missed you. Thanks for stopping by.
Bye.
Don't tell him that, please. Don't
Call
tell him
me.
that. I don't want him to.
I just want everyone to know that I'm looking at screenshots from Shower with Your Dad Simulator, and two of the options you can pick apparently on one of the screen are towel off and leather up.
I am looking forward to this. Let me tell you what.
We expect a full
It's
It's
review.
gonna be full. Definitely gonna be full.
Comprehensive.
More like Papa-hensive.
Am I the best gift giver? I am the best gift giver.
You really are. It's great.
Thank you.
It's a good one. Thank you.
All right, that's it for us at the GameBrew podcast. Say happy Festivus, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Happy Festivus!
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells.
Little King sing. Gengar soon.
I don't think that's how it goes at all.
Jigglypuff! Gotta get your ball! Gotta get your ball! Yeah,
Gotta get your ball. Gotta get your ball.
Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon.
Yeah.
A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bright was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lame, misfortune seemed his lot. He got into a drifted bank, and then we got upset. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way.